I didn't know what to say, so I just said something like "F you, Dale" or something like that. And I put the phone down, and I was like, I can't wait to see that guy next time. I was pissed.
You're the first cousin once removed of Kenny Schrader.
Yes. Yeah. Fortunately.
You hung out at his shop when you were young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to convince him to give you an opportunity. And that is how, I guess we could jump right into this story. That's how I met your dad, which was a hell of a thing. And I wonder if you'll remember this story the way I do. We've been racing. This is toward the end of both of our careers. And I don't know that we really each knew it at the time, but I was being a bit of an to you on a text message.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yeah. We were racing at Charlotte
Yeah.
in the playoffs, and I was doing everything I could to keep you behind me, and I'm kind of reading off of my notes here. And I was air blocking you a lot, and finally we get down into turn one, and you just put the bumper to me. And I ended up getting up in the fence, and my day spiraled, and I hit the wall a few more times before the race was over with, and I was pretty mad about it. And I ended up not advancing deep into the playoffs that year, but you were in the thick of the playoff battle as we get to Phoenix. Rain came past halfway and cut the race short.
Oh, man, I've forgotten all this. Yes.
I coincidentally would steal a win from Harvick because I cycled in front of him during a pit cycle. You would be eliminated from the championship that night. You were standing on pit road like, come on, it's Phoenix. Let's get this race going. This rain's not going to last forever. This is Phoenix. Everybody, where y'all going? Why are we leaving? We all went home. Maybe a day or two later, we were all texting in the driver's group text, and I said that I was glad that you were eliminated because of how I felt you'd fenced me at Charlotte a few weeks earlier, and I was really rude and obnoxious. Fast forward to the next or the last weekend of the season at Homestead, and I see you at the driver's meeting. Me and you had coincidentally arrived a bit early, and I saw you, and I thought, I'm going to go have a chat and try to see if we can have a truce. And I think you were into that as well. Yeah. And I sat down, and right before we even got to start our conversation, you said, hey, I want you to meet my dad. And I had never met him in my life. And I said, oh, nice to meet you. And he goes, we've met before. And I said, we have? And he said, yeah. He said, there's this story that I've told many times about the week that I spent with Ken Schrader when I was 15 years old or 16 years old. I went dirt racing with him, had a blast, drank a lot of beer, looked at a lot of Playboy magazines. And we were at this one strip club, and they wouldn't let me in. So I sat in the back of the pickup truck while Schrader and everybody went inside to the strip club. And one of the guys that was with us said, hey, I'll sit out here with you. Don't want you to be by yourself. It's don't know the neighborhood really that well. I'll sit here. And I sat in the back of this pickup truck and drank beer with this guy. And I'm a kid back then, and this guy was probably our age today. That was your dad. And I didn't know that. We're sitting there at Homestead at a driver's meeting. He's like, that was me. And you know what was neat is all that bullshit and frustration about the racing and bumping and being and text messages and all that stuff just washed away. Because I guess it was kind of like this unique situation where it was kind of it was all put into perspective, like what's really important. And I don't know how you felt about that, but I will never forget that sort of circumstantial sort of way that we would kind of come together there at Homestead and get to the end of that.
No,
how do you remember all that?
I'm glad that you told that story because you forget all the details of those things, and I didn't put them all together that way. I remembered, for me, that I remember it all in different compartments. I remember Phoenix. I remember Phoenix thinking that, we got to finish this race. This is everything right now. This is the most important thing in the world. I remember going home, and I remember that night with that text message because I don't know what was. I was just having a great night. Kate and I were doing great. I remember we were watching Game of Thrones at this time, so we're watching Game of Thrones every night. I remember I had like a glass of wine, which I don't ever drink wine, and I'm like, man, I'm having the best night of my life. And the phone starts dinging, and I look up, and I'm like, damn, Dale, that is some harsh stuff. I remember you said something like, there's nothing made me happier than seeing Carl standing there with that umbrella, knowing, or something like that. And I was like, that is poetically mean as hell. Like, that was good, yes. But damn it. Yeah. And I remember I didn't know what to say. So I just said something like, F you, Dale, or something like that. And I put the phone down, and I was like, I can't wait to see that guy next time. I was pissed. And, but I didn't remember. I had separated it, because I remember that moment in the driver's meeting, and how cool it was for my dad to connect with you that way. And I had, in my memory, I'd forgotten that all those things were, I guess, connected or something. But so cool. It warms my heart to think that that's special to you, because especially now at our age now, you kind of see this arc, I do, of life and all these things. And now I see it like God puts all these things together at the right time. And when my dad was sitting in the back of the pickup truck with you, I was at that age where I wanted to race more than anything. And I'd hear these stories about Dad going with Schrader. And I remember him talking about little Dale, and I couldn't, you were a person, and to come full circle, but to know you as a racer and a man and a father, and for now to us to be able to talk about this, it's just crazy to think of this arc, and that's cool.
The one thing that I think about is when I realized that was your dad, because I'd raced you my whole career, not knowing that I knew your dad, not knowing that he had been the great cool ass person in the moment that said, I'll sit with you out here. I won't go in where all the other guys are going. Everybody's so fired up and excited to go. I'm going to not do that and sit with you. That was such a nice thing. I'm so frustrated is not the right word, but I wished I would have known that was your dad while we raced. Like, how might our relationship been different from the beginning of your racing career, all through all those years in Cup we raced together? And I had no clue that I had that experience with you. It would have really, I think, created a bond between us that might have completely changed the way we interacted in our careers.
I agree with that. And I can't believe you're bringing this up today. I just had this conversation with this group of men this week. I went down to Austin. I've been just blessed to be around some really great men the last couple of years who've helped me get some perspective. And I think the question you just asked is something now that I'm asking myself all the time. It's, what are people's stories? And you do a good job of this. You tell people's stories so that we can understand where people are coming from. And I think I might have told you one time kind of how I used to see you. When I first understood who you were the silver spoon. You got everything. You got the famous name. You were everything I wished I had. And I didn't understand you as a person. And I think for me, and I was wrong. And so for me, how many people am I going through my life that I could understand them, I could have a bond with them, I could have a relationship with them, but I don't take the time. And I think that's a mistake. I tried to talk about that a little bit at the Hall of Fame. I didn't take the time to understand who you are, how we, share these common experiences, how we appreciate the same things maybe. And I think that's a shame. And so, now it's like I can't catch up quick enough trying to be a little more graceful, to try to be a little more curious about other people and their stories.
You brought up the Michigan meeting in the hauler. Was that the nationwide weekend? So I don't remember getting called to the hauler, but I do. I was going to ask about that Michigan nationwide race. So I don't remember the year. I think it was 05 or 06. you're leading the race. As far as I remember, you pretty much had good control of the race.
Yeah.
The junior motorsports team, my team has a car in the field, and Robbie Gordon's driving it. We were kind of between drivers, and Robbie's having a great day. And I was driving for DEI and Tony Sr., and I was doing okay back there as well. I can't remember exactly who led or who was doing who should have won the race. Do you remember?
Okay. I remember. All I remember was it was off of turn 2.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like you pushed me. I thought, oh, he's just gonna touch me. I was like, no, he's sending me. And it was. And I remember thinking, like, damn, that was serious.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I don't remember how it exactly went, but I remember coming to pit road, tore up car, you won the race, and I was like, put some tires on it. And they're like, don't you dare do it. And I said, just put some tires on it. And I went out there and I ran into you. And I remember that it was ugly. And then I think I went to Victory Lane and, said just being
you were mad,
really pissed. And
you actually had pretty good self-control in Victory Lane.
Okay.
If I have to give you,
thanks.
I have to give you that.
Doesn't feel like felt a little out of control. And then, but I think you said something like, when you came up in front of me, I had to think, would this guy lift for me? And in fact, at Atlanta, which I believe might have been your best shot for a championship, at least up to that point, I was behind you. You came up, and I remember making a decision, and I regret it. I made a decision that, screw it, he's coming up, and I'm going to stay right here, and I'm going to let him suffer his consequences.
Yeah.
And looking back, that was really, really, that wasn't giving you 1 inch, and I shouldn't have done that. And you said, I asked myself if this guy would do it for me, and in fact, he would not. And so that was that. And I thought, damn.
Oh, man. I don't know if I ever personally connected the two that now that you bring it up.
Oh, you did, straight to my face. But
oh my God.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot about that I don't remember. I remember coming off 2 and we were all like giving 11 tenths. Like we were all just driving the shit out of our cars. And I wrecked you. I got in the back of you and pushed you and I could have turned you loose. I didn't.
Yeah.
Who knows how it might have ended up. 88 might win. Junior Motorsport gets its first win. You could have won. I don't think I would have won the race otherwise. And it was just an ugly deal all the way around for me and you. And I didn't do myself any favors. But it wasn't a race that I absolutely had to win. It wasn't like it was a situation where we were getting eliminated in the playoffs or anything. But I don't remember getting called to the hauler.
I thought it was that week. I thought they called us to the hauler the next morning. And,
wow.
Well, it's probably because I went out there like a crazy person and ran into you after the race was over.
Yeah.
But I remember that conversation pretty well. You said a couple things to me, one being the facade thing earlier, but it really, I guess at that point in my career, I was 100% take. I was about 1% give, if any. And so, that's just, that was interesting for sure. Yeah.
I thought, I do remember at some point later that weekend, you came up to me in the bus lot and said, hey, I want to apologize for coming into Victory Lane.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah. You were like, hey, look, a lot of things went down that I don't like. But there are some things that I did that I'm not proud of. I want to let you know that I'm not happy about doing those things. And so I do want folks to know that you did that and you had, there was some self-awareness for sure.
A little bit.